This is the Team Blaney Podcast.
Let's go race for a championship.
Well, we're happy to welcome back the driver of the number 12 Ford Mustang for Team Penske, the man himself, Ryan Blaney, back here on the Team Blaney Podcast. Ryan, thanks for giving us some more of your time.
Hey, guys. Yeah, nice to be back home.
Absolutely. So we're fresh off the weekend at the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway, but we have plenty of other things to talk about. And some of it does start with the weekend itself at North Wilkesboro. And one was a surprise for a lot of us. You were back in the Fox Sports booth for the NASCAR Truck Series race. And we just wanted to say, you seem so comfortable up there. You're not up there all the time. I know there's some guys like Joey that's up there like every single week and the different things when they can. But you're so comfortable. You're so natural. Even working with a guy like Michael Waltrip, who, you know, he's a funny guy, but I feel like you guys kind of banter off each other really well. Is that something that you really look forward to do, that you reach out to them to try to do it? And you always get the same question, but like, is this something you want to do? You hang up the driver's suit and the helmet. Are you going right to the TV booth like a Junior or a Burton or something?
Yeah, I enjoy doing them. You know, I try to only do, you know, kind of like max 3 a year, because they are fun, whether they're, you know, truck races, Xfinity races. I enjoy doing them. I enjoy the people in the booth, you know, whether it's, you know, Michael and Jamie, working with Adam Alexander, you know, every now and then. He's such a good guy, and it's a cool perspective. And, you know, it's neat that I can give my little piece of driver perspective every now and then for those races. I think they do a good job on the Cup side with that, you know, with Kevin and Clint. And then, you know, like Jeff Burton and Dale and Letard on the crew chief side. I think they do a really good job at that. So, I wouldn't see myself doing them when I'm done. It's just something that I have fun doing it a handful of times a year at most. And when I'm done, I'm going to go find something completely different and off the reservation to do. But I have fun doing it while I can.
Totally different cars and that you're watching when you're broadcasting, but is there anything to learn from that perspective? I know like North Wilkesboro, you could see that the track is widening out. Maybe there's like, you know, 2.5 grooves you can go on.
Yeah.
You learn during those weekends.
Yeah, I do learn. At some racetracks I go to, I can learn a little bit. I have a fair idea of kind of how the weekend's going to go and progress as far as like a racing lane. But Wilkesboro is still pretty new. So I did see some stuff in that truck race. I was like, oh, okay, that kind of worked. And I was able to apply it in my heat race and kind of apply it on Sunday night. So, yeah, I picked out a couple lanes. Like Kyle Busch was running a pretty unique lane compared to everybody else. And I was like, oh, okay, he's making that work. Maybe I can have that as an option. And then a couple other guys as well. So it does help me in some regards of just putting some stuff in your mind when you're watching from up there.
The real question, though, is slide job. The slide job.
my Dale Jr. tribute. Yeah.
Did you have that on the ready, or were you something you were going to try to put in at some point?
It just came out. It just came out, man. I mean, that's like seared into people's brains, as Dale's call it Chicagoland. That was like 2018 or something like that, I think. 17, 18. And that's like burned into people's memory because that was such an iconic call. And it's funny, Dale, I think he put something up on X about it. And I texted him right after. I was like, I'm happy you noticed, man, because as soon as I said it, I was like, I said it just like Dale. Like I said it twice, like slide job. And I wish I would have just thrown a big Mooresville country accent in there like he has. But I was happy that he noticed, and it was pretty funny when you can make a call like that was someone that's like, it's an iconic line of his.
Yeah, it almost felt to me like you said it the first time and then realized you said it, and then you're like, I gotta throw in the second one.
I did, yeah. The first time I was like, well, I could see the slider coming, and like I said it the first one, and it just popped in my brain. I was like, oh, say it again. That's what they did. Yeah.
So you had a really strong run in the All-Star race, and then the opportunity presents itself at the end there to kind of swing for the fences and stay out on the last restart. We know how it turned out, but those pivotal like strategy calls, and especially knowing ahead of time that this caution was going to come out, Are those things that you guys work through in like pre-race prep during the week? Like, if this happens, we're going to do this. If this happens, we're going to do this. Or do sometimes is it off, feel like feeling between you and Jonathan what might work?
A little bit of both. I'd say we plan for all options. He and I sit down. Everyone's different. Every driver crew chief is different, but like he and I sit down during the week when it's time to discuss Wilkesboro. It's time to discuss, the strategy of the race. Is hey, if these opportunities come up, we know how many tires we have. X amount of laps on tires, we might stay out. And then there's like X amount of laps on lefts, rights might be a play, and then kind of over that limit, all right, 4 might be a play. So we know the stages, we know the tires. One thing that you kind of guess at a little bit is, tire fall off. Like you kind of find that out at the racetrack. So then you talk about that even more after practice about the strategies. So it's a lot of discussion, but then those calls are just in the moment too. Sometimes you'll go, sometimes racetracks will go to that, hey, if we get a caution on lap 10 or 15, we're staying, but it looks like everyone's coming in the race and okay, we're going to come anyway, just kind of staying on the same strategy. And it depends what spot you're in. Like that deal the other night, I really wasn't going to win. Like I was probably a 3rd place car behind the 22 and the 20. So it was a chance for me to restart on the front row and try to pull it off, and just didn't really happen. So it's kind of all the above of planning, but also needing to audible when you need to.
Yeah, I thought like that situation was unique. And Steve and I kind of what you just said, basically said, they were running 3rd, 4th, 5th most of the night. And in a race like this, it's pretty much you win or you don't win. So that was really the only call that was going to give you an opportunity to have a chance to win.
Yeah. And certain tracks are different, right? If it's a points race or you feel like you can drive up to the lead, you'll probably just stay on the same strategy. You don't want to go off strategy too much. It just kind of depends.
Yeah, weren't you surprised a lot more cars behind you didn't stay out? That was my wife and I were there and we saw like only 3 guys stay out behind you. I thought, man, if you were running 18th, why wouldn't you try to move up at least a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you get that more at, like points racetracks, right? When those are on the line, right? If a guy's running 15th and he's going to restart 6th on old stuff right next to or in front of new tires, you're kind of going to get swallowed up probably. And you're probably not going to win the race, right? From 6th on old stuff and you're running 15th all night. And so I bet they were just like, well, what the hell? We'll come in, we'll take tires and we'll see what we can get out of it. So but I was a little bit surprised. I thought 1 or 2 more would have stayed out, but you just never know.
So there was a little bit of a change on Team 12 a few weeks ago, and we've actually had a chance to talk with the new front changer, Keaston. That'll be an upcoming show we haven't just released just yet, but it kind of seems like it's gelled pretty quickly. For adding somebody new into the mix. Do you think that the Penske pit department's headed in the right direction now and able to compete more with the elite teams on pit road?
Yeah, I think so. Keaston's been a great addition to our group. He's been around for a little bit. He was dealing with an injury, and when it came time to decide, should we make a change, he was available, and we were able to snatch him up. So that stuff's tricky. I worked with Ryan Flores for a long time. He and I are friends. And it stinks in a regard when you're friends with somebody and you work with them week to week, and and they make a change, but I think we all understand it's just business, right? It's what's best for the team, and you never know, right? Like Flores hasn't gone forever. He could, things can move around and we could work together in the future. It's always at a revolving door. But Keaston's done a really good job since, his first race was Talladega and we didn't get to make a pit stop. So then Texas and Kansas were his first 2, and then this weekend at Wilkesboro, and he's been really good. He's a great guy. It's been fun to get to know him even more as we work with him, and he works hard, man. I mean, he's a workhorse and wants to be great, and I think he definitely can be.
Now, we talked with him a little bit about this as well. As a driver, I'm sure you want to come down pit road and come out, 1, 2, 3 spots ahead, as much track position as you can gain on every pit stop, but that's not necessarily realistic. And he talked a lot about like really wanting to like hit a middle ground where they're consistent. They don't make mistakes. You kind of hold serve on pit road. You gain a position here and there. As the driver holding the wheel, what would you prefer? Like some of these other teams that we talk about on pit road, they can pull off these monster stops and gain 3 seconds, but then they come down the next time, make a huge mistake.
Yeah,
they lose all the track position. So what are you looking for?
Yeah, it's like a fine line of, and we talk about this all the time, Jonathan and I. It's like, what do we want? And like you said, there's some groups out there on pit road that they can go bust off an 8.2, or a 8.1. But they might have a blow up, they might have a 15-second stop. And that's just what it is. When you're running as fast as these guys are nowadays, you're so much faster than what we used to be, a few years ago. There's just a lot of room for error. I mean, the timing has to be even more perfect than what it used to be. We're asking a lot of these guys, all 5 of them. I mean, it's getting hard to put all the gas we need to get in it and how fast these stops are getting, So it really puts a lot of pressure on everybody to perform. So, I mean, I've always just wanted to be consistent, and try to just not lose spots, right? If you can just maintain, and hey, maybe you'll get 1 or 2 here, maybe you'll lose 1 or 2 here, but as long as you're staying towards that neutral zone, it's kind of what I ask of my guys.
So over the last few years, you and Gianna have been really open to having the documentary crews kind of come and follow your life, specifically the last couple of years, just through the playoffs. Not all drivers have really opened up to that. Some famously kind of haven't. But what has that experience been like, and why do you think you guys have been so accommodating to letting those folks in?
Yeah, the Netflix folks, they were great to work with last year, or in 23, I guess. It was, I didn't really know what to expect. I don't think anyone did, right? When you work with new people, right? We're in front of cameras all the time. But that's really mainly at the track and we're talking about work. But when you're opening your home up, it's a little bit different deal. So her and I just kind of had a conversation and said, okay, how comfortable are we with this, of letting people in our home that we don't really know? And then kind of opening then your personal world up of, to the public, to the world, even more than what you do already. And how comfortable are we with that? So I think we kind of found a good line of showing enough personality and just who you are as people without kind of overstepping it. And I think people really enjoyed that. And then season 2, it was kind of a no-brainer. Like, we really got to know the Netflix crews. They were really great. We saw the positive reaction from everybody from the first season. So we're like, yeah, let's take it a step further. Let's, gosh, they followed her to pick out her wedding dress, for crying out loud, Yep. So, we really were open to them. And, so yeah, it's picking and choosing, what you want to show or what you don't. But I kept trying to remind myself and remind ourselves that, hey, this is for something, larger. I think people are going to really enjoy it, and people like seeing that side. So I'm happy people liked it. The ending of season 2 of Full Speed wasn't as good as the first season, personally, but I still think it turned out great. We sat down, we watched all 5 episodes right when it came out. And I mean, I knew the parts that I was in, right? We were there for them, but I thought they did a great job of piecing it together.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, I mean, did they, when they put it together, does it seem like they're at least being pretty honest with what they're seeing and showing everybody? I like Christopher's things are really honest, sometimes. And it's kind of like gripping to kind of see that, you guys are doing that for them,
Yeah. I mean, they do a good job of right. It's television, right? I mean, there's some things that I feel like is, I watch stuff all the time that I am a part of or know that I'm like, oh, they fabricated that up a little bit more than what it actually is, and that's just the way it is. That's what grabs people. But I feel like they did a pretty good job of not really doing that too much. But yeah, I thought it turned out very well, and obviously there's a couple things in there that I was like, man, I wish they would have done this different or that different or showed this perspective. But that's just, kind of seeing it from inside, but outside as well. But no, I thought they did a good job.
I know as fans, we were really excited after 2023. One, you win the championship and everything, but we were kind of talking amongst ourselves, like, how amazing is it that they basically did a whole documentary documenting you winning a championship, and that's like something we'll essentially have forever as long as Netflix exists. So that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. I have to show my kids that one day. It's like, hey, look at your old man. Look what he used to do. He used to be pretty cool.
Steve had a question too about the pool. How's the pool going?
Oh
yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. I'm looking at it currently. It's pretty much done. We've been enjoying it the last couple weeks. It's finally been done, and perfect timing too. The weather's getting kind of where it needs to be here in North Carolina, and it's been nice. So yeah, that's it's not what it was in the documentary. That was a low point right there. That was about what you saw in the documentary. It stayed that way with nobody out for like 3 or 4 weeks. So I was really on edge of like, these people are just not showing up. They're not doing nothing. And so I really kind of let them have it. But yeah, it ended up fine.
So there was one other thing, like I saw on social media lately, your wife's been posting a lot of pictures of the new creatures that you have there. That are hopping around behind you in the field. I mean, are you going to have a farm pretty soon too back there behind the house? Or
yeah, we're growing our animal inventory. We got 3 goats. They're Nigerian dwarf goats, is what they're called, and we have 3 females, 3 girls, and they're funny little creatures, man. I mean, they're. I go out with them every morning. We keep them. We built this big pen for them. We keep them in this like little shed at night, just for safety reasons. And I go out every morning with my coffee and let them out and just hang out with them for like 30 minutes. And it's just really cool. They're just psyched. And and now it's on to, all right, what do we get next? What's the next animals and farm animals we're getting? So I'm sure we're going to have plenty more here soon before you know it.
Fresh eggs.
Yeah, I think that's next. I think chickens are next. Mm-hmm. She really wants to get those mini cows, which I think those things are pretty funny looking. I heard we got to get a donkey. I heard donkeys are good for protection. Donkeys will kill like coyotes and foxes and stuff. So donkey might be next. If we continue to grow our herd here, we got to get some protection out there. My dogs can't do it. They ain't going to hurt a fly. So we got to get some real muscle.
So we just come off, like last week, you had the Ryan Blaney Family Foundation held the pickleball fundraising tournament, broadcast live on NASCAR's YouTube channel, by the way, which is awesome. Talk about the success of the event and the importance of the mission that it supports.
Yeah, it was a great event. It's the second year we've done the pickleball deal. We did Topgolf for a while, and we decided to migrate to the pickleball deal, and we found a great spot in Charlotte. It's called Raleigh. It's a really cool venue, outdoor courts, indoor courts, really cool space, like a couple bars, food. And I really wanted to do the idea of pickleball, and I was happy that it kind of confirmed my thoughts on it. Was like Topgolf. The only thing that I didn't like about the Topgolf event that we did for a couple, 2-3 years was like everyone's in their bay and everyone kind of sticks to their bay and no one can really converse. And the pickleball deal, everyone's just flowing with each other, meeting each other. Like, hey, you want to play a game? Yeah, let's play some 2-on-2, and they just found out who they were and they just talk and become friends. And it was way more personable, I feel like. So we had a blast. We got lucky with the weather. I was really, really nice that NASCAR put it on their broadcast live on YouTube. So that was great. But we got knocked out. I got knocked out by LaJoy and sure enough, Flores, son of a bitch, that knocked us out of the tournament. But no, it was a great time. I appreciate everyone coming out, supporting it. And it was great to have some folks there from, UPMC and things like that. And it was a good turnout. So that thing just continues to grow. And I gotta figure out something for next year. We're getting too many ringers, many pickleball ringers at the event. So I gotta clean that up a little bit.
Yeah. Keaston said that him and Jonathan want a shot at you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we weren't in the same bracket. We're still refining the bracket style to where you get to play more and more and face different people. But there's a lot of teams, so we got to it's something we got to figure out. So we got a year to think about it.
Keaston says that he could have done some damage if he would have got to that round.
Well, I didn't know before he got out there that he used to like be really good at tennis.
Yeah.
Play college.
And
Yeah.
I watched him and Jonathan play a little bit. He was carrying Jonathan, that's for sure. That's for sure.
So this is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart because if we may have talked about it one of the last times you were on, but I grew up at Sharon Speedway. I spent almost 10 years kind of working there as a kid all the way up to an adult through college, all the way till before I moved to Florida. So hearing that you've joined the ownership group there with your dad and Will Thomas the third as well was super exciting for me to hear. But then also, I've been away for a while, but the buzz in the region up there has been kind of cool, and people are, contacting me, asking me about it. It really reminded me a lot, and I was a kid, but early 2000s when your dad originally joined the ownership group there as well. I remember just a super buzz around the region. A lot of people are excited about it. So you're super busy. But do you have a vision for the future, and will you have the opportunity at some point to clear some schedule to be a little bit more hands-on there? Or do you think, you have the folks kind of in place there to run most of the day-to-day stuff and you'll let it operate that way?
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to be part of it on the ownership side. When that opportunity came up, that a couple guys were going to step away. 2 guys that were partners with my dad ever since he bought it. And I think it was 2002 that dad bought it. Yeah. It really just, I kind of jumped at the opportunity. I remember dad calling me up one day and said, "Hey, this is kind of happening up here. What are your thoughts of going in on it, and becoming a part owner with me?" And my immediate response was yes, because that place has just meant a lot to our family and, my dad and grandparents and things like that. And, to have Will Thomas with us as well, he's just an amazing person and been a pleasure to get to, know him for a long time. I've known Willie ever since I was young, and he's doing an amazing job up there. And it's nice to have, Willie's local up there. So he's very hands-on. He can be there day to day when dad and I are down here in North Carolina. So I guess my vision for it, I think the biggest things for me I'm trying to wrap my arms around. I never thought I'd be a part of owning a racetrack. And this is the only place I'd ever part own just because it's special. But it's how do you, number one, how do you make the fan experience even better than what it is? How do you make it affordable for people to come out and have a good time? And also, how do you get people to come out to your racetrack and compete? And I think a big thing that I really want to do at that place, they race there weekly, is how do you raise purses to, benefit people for coming and competing for a larger piece of the pot. That's kind of the main couple things on my mind is the fan experience and raising the purses for those events. And I am going to get up there a couple times this year for sure. I'm trying to pan out when I can come and what dates I can make it up to. I know they got I think it's a big modified race up there in June on a Monday that I think I'm going to be able to make it up for. The Lou Blaney Memorial's tricky this year, kind of just the way the schedule is lined up. But we'll see. But yeah, I definitely want to come up there and see everybody. We got a great group of people working at that place and that have been there for a long time, or maybe they're new, and we just have a great crop of human beings. So yeah, it's an exciting time for sure. And I'm happy to be a part of a place that meant a lot to me and my folks and my grandparents too.
Adam was just trying to get his old job back. That's all. That's why he's
Hey, new ownership, man. We're hiring.
Yeah. If you need someone to run that transponder system again, I'm your guy.
Right.
I'll just need some flights back and forth. So speaking of Sharon, one thing that's kind of happened this year is your dad and your Uncle Dale have teamed up for the first time in a long time. I know they have some history together racing with each other. But now, Dale stepped into that, what I'll call now the iconic number 10 that your dad retired out of. And he's starting to run that this year, that sprint car, and they picked up their first win over the weekend at Sharon. And I know there's a World of Outlaws race coming up. But what do you think about those two kind of teaming up this year?
Yeah, it's cool. I was wondering what dad was going to do after, he retired. from driving last year. And, when he brought up, I think Dale's going to run for me, in 25 a little bit. And I was like, man, that's awesome. Right. I mean, that brings me back to like the US print days.
Yeah. I have the diecast behind me over here.
Yeah. I got a few later on the house as well. And, so that's just super cool. And I see Dale a lot nowadays. Dale drives Allmendinger's motorhome nowadays to a good bit of races. So it's fun to see Dale on the weekends and hang out with him. And, it's cool that he and Dad get to work together. And it was awesome to watch him win this past weekend up at Sharon at that race. And they got the World of Outlaw race. I think it's either this weekend or next weekend up at Sharon that they're getting ready for, and hopefully they can go compete in that. But it's cool that they get to run together, and hopefully they don't get at each other's throats too much, and they can have a good time this year.
So one last thing, a little bit ago, the NASCAR Hall of Fame announced the class of 2026. You have Kurt Busch, Ray Hendrick, Harry Gant, Humpy Wheeler in one of the other awards as well. But you've won a championship,
cool.
You've won multiple races. Is that even something you let yourself think about? That's a possibility for you in the future, getting into the Hall of Fame?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't even seen it. That was the first time I heard who got in. I didn't know who got in. That's cool. That's a great class. I'm happy for Kurt. And it was fun to race with Kurt for a while. I watched him growing up. I loved watching him, and it was unfortunate the way that his driving career ended. And being there too was just brutal. And I'm happy that he's is able to celebrate that. And I was really so I got to sit in on that voting procedure. The previous champion gets to sit in on it and vote, and that was a cool experience. To sit in there and hear people like have their statements, have their arguments, why this person should be in, why this person should be in. I didn't say a damn word in that thing. I just sat there and listened to it all. But I was pushing. I actually had a vote for Harry Gant to get in last year. And I'm excited that he got in this year. I'm really hoping, there was another guy I voted for that I'm not going to say. I hope he gets in next year that deserves to be in there. But I don't know. No, as far as my deal goes, like, I don't think about that stuff. Like, I don't think about it at all. If it happens, it happens. I got a long road to go. So we'll just see when the time comes, but it's not something that I think about.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much for sitting down with us once again here on the Team Blaney Podcast.
Yeah, man.
We love getting your perspective on things. We love sharing it with the folks that follow us and that are huge fans of you. And hopefully we've kind of made it a regular thing once a year. Hopefully we can keep this going next year. So.
Yeah, man, for sure. Thanks for having me on. Good to see you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you later.
Well, thanks everybody for coming. I hope you enjoyed it.